try and bring you up to speed. A quick introduction, 5 minute. Why crypto? Like what it is. Then we're going to move into investing and how the last few years of my life I really came to like the business, what I think to be the magic recipe to make slow and consistent gains. But this is helping us to be successful over time. Whereas when we first discover crypto, we can get like very much in a gambling sort of mindset and make big money and then lose big times as well. And we have to go through all the challenges that comes with that. So we'll spend some time on that, how to create a nice portfolio, a bit of emotions and trading and mindset also on money and wealth. And then if we have a bit of more time, we can touch up on a couple of little technical bits and pieces and also ask you questions, even though we're going to have a panel right after. I think some of your questions may be relevant for everybody here. So the first thing I'd like to share with you guys is just this, and that's the only thing that I want to show you. I'm not sure if everybody can see this. And basically what this is the US dollar going down in the last 80 years or so, 100 years actually. But why this is relevant is because all of us, we are working, and we're working hard, and we're trading the best years of our life for an instrument, for a piece of paper. But most of us, we don't even understand it, what it is, how it's created. None of our parents had the financial education to tell us what it is. So we all in the rat race. And you see on that chart, back in 1913, $100 was worth $100. And in 2019, so 2 years ago, it's worth about $3.10. So I let that sink in a minute, because what this means is 50 years ago, just one man could work and provide for his whole family, buy land, go on holidays. And what we've seen our generation, in just 2 or 3 generations, basically, is how sometimes even working 2 jobs, 2 people is not enough. We're just cutting it. And so, a few years ago, I was going through some spiritual awakening, like most of us here in Ubud. I was on that awakening stuff, and then it occurred to me that there is no winning that game. There is no winning the game because it's rigged. And so working smart is just not good enough. Like if we want to become the leaders that we are all here for, that's why we're in Bali, I believe. All the star seeds, all the galactic beings, all the leaders, we are waking up, and a big part of that awakening is not to talk about manifesting ourselves, is to embody that. And there are different tools, different instruments you can use to manifest yourself financially. And I believe crypto is the most efficient. So that's my belief. It's also risky, so it's basically compressing consciousness. 100 years ago, maybe it would take 2 generations to accumulate wealth. Our parents' generation, maybe if you work hard for 30 or 40 years, you could make big money. Now with crypto, we see kids making millions of dollars in 2 or 3 years. And so there is a bit of luck, there is a bit of everything, but basically to me, cryptocurrency is the most efficient way to manifest yourself. And that's why I'm excited to talk about this topic, because it's definitely changed my life. Many of my close friends have made a very good money last year and this year, and I've made a lot of new friends also, because if we can help each other, building each other up, like for sure it's a cool thing. So what is cryptocurrency in a nutshell is the evolution of internet, and it's also the digitalization of many aspects of society. So we've digitalized everything. We've digitalized books, we've digitalized music. So before we were listening to the music on a thing, now iPhones, iPods, we've digitalized. What else have we digitalized? Popcorn style. Yeah, some jobs. Messaging. We used to write letters. Now, so everything has been digitalized, and now what we're digitalizing is all the products and services that exist. To some degree, we can digitalize 50 to 100% of these products and services. And so to me, crypto is the tool. It's the mean for this to happen. And as Michael was talking about just before, you have cryptocurrencies that are just digital way of payment, but you also have a huge technology. So cryptocurrencies would be just the tip of the iceberg, just one tiny bit of what that technology is enabling us to do. All the contracts, getting married, buying a business, selling a business, buying shares into a business, voting, all of these vital aspects of society are going to become digitalized, simplified, user-friendly from the touch of an app on your phone. And we are now at the beginning of that. So that's really, really mind-blowing, and that's really, really cool. You were just mentioning before, where are we on that timeline, on that adoption curve of cryptocurrency? We are at the very beginning. Not even 5% of the people on planet Earth have cryptocurrency. Many people start talking about it, but not even 5% have cryptocurrency. So if this year is your year to learn about it and get into it, you're not late. Don't stress out. Don't go and buy the next Dogecoin or the next Parabolic because you feel like you're missing out. Please don't do that. We're going to have to talk about this, but if you can breathe out, and just know in your heart you've got 3 to 4 years to make money in the space. And if you just want to be obsessed about it, like some of us, you may make a little more money, and so it depends what you want to manifest in the world. If all you want to make is a good life for yourself and your family, you have time. So welcome on board. Cryptocurrency is built on blockchains. So that's for the newer people. I'll just spend 2 minutes on that. But what a blockchain is basically an operating system. And different blockchains are just like different cars. Sometimes you want to drive a Ferrari. You want to drive fast. Sometimes you want to take a 4-wheel drive and go in the mountains and cross a river. So you need different cars to do different things. And so with cryptocurrency, it's the same. Sometimes we want more security. If we're going to move a couple of $1 million, we want to make sure this is really, really safe. We don't care so much about the speed in that instance, the speed of the transaction. But if you want just to pay for coffee, and it's like $3, you don't want to wait 20 minutes for a confirmation. So security is less important, speed is more important. So that's how you can think of blockchains. In my opinion, they are complementary. And just like cars, there's not one brand who rule the world. You have like 50 to 20 brands who fit different needs. And so I believe in the future, we will see 20 to 50 major cryptocurrencies that cover most of the needs. And then we were talking as well, we're gonna to digitalize our businesses. If you're an artist, if you're a musician, people may actually vote with their dollars in their community. And that's how exchange of value is going to be expressed instead of going through a third party like a bank or whatever. Imagine that. The bank, they need to pay for the land. Then they need a building. then they need all the employees. Then they need to pay for utility bills, electricity. No. So we, the customers, we create value, and most of that value is just disappearing because of the third party. And what cryptocurrency is doing, it's removing majorly the third party, and it's building trust and reliability, so that if I know that AI, and I know in a wood AI is a bit catastrophic, and the whole, whatever it's called in Terminator, the gloomy artificial intelligence, Skynet. Yeah, I believe artificial intelligence has its place, and sometimes technology can do a better job than human beings. Simply because humans, we have emotions, we can lie, we can have preferences, we can be greedy, and we've seen this in the system that we live in. That's why it's crumbling. It's not because of politics, it's not because of money, it's because of our very human nature. So if we can use a technology to replace this, it's going to have to do a job that's impartial. It's binary. This you can do, it's allowed on this blockchain. This you cannot do it. It doesn't matter if you want to pay me $100,000 under the table. It's just not going to happen. So in that respect, I think cryptocurrency is going to be a more efficient way, and the only way, in fact, to merge into a global economy. Because that's where we're going. Most of us, we are digital nomads already. We've been working online. We are international. Our audience is in many different countries. And so we need, as much as we want to decentralize everything, I believe in balance, and I believe that there is also a need for something that brings us together. Otherwise, everybody is just doing their own things. Everybody is their own bubble. So I think what's going to be interesting is to create technology that is really serving humanity. That's a tool that is making our life easier, more efficient. And that's what I see with cryptocurrency in a nutshell. Yeah?
I just wanted to add, another cool thing about blockchain is that you can see every transaction. And so it's really bringing right now we don't know what's going on with a lot of transactions that are going on in the world. And with the blockchain, it's just very transparent because every single transaction is right there for everyone to see. And it can't be taken off and it can't be deleted. So just wanted to add that. Thanks.
Thank you, love. A very important point, transparency. So crypto is an open ledger, meaning all the participants have access to the information. You send me 1 Bitcoin 2 years ago, she cannot say, oh, actually, no, it didn't happen, because everybody can actually clearly see what happened. So that's super interesting, and that's also going to bring some privacy problems. How far do we want to be transparent as human beings? In the beginning, it's the best idea because it's been the other way around for so long. But you know, some things you just want to share them with one person or with your family. You don't want the whole world to know about, so you don't have to be like shady or into any naughty things. It's just privacy, right? So that technology is super cool, and of course in the beginning if we realize the power, if we missed internet and we realize the power of crypto, it's a very smart way to make money, because you can use your time very efficiently with that technology, and you can make you can get out of survival in 2 or 3 or 4 years max, guaranteed. Now, the naughty little secret is, if you want to learn a language, let's say Russian, well, you need to show up. You need to put a couple of hours every day. You need to take a year or 2. You need to read books. You need to talk with people. You need to put stuff in your consciousness all the time. You need to practice. You need to make mistakes. So when I go on YouTube these days, I see all these stupid videos with a thumbnail like 500x in 3 days, like, and so most people come across crypto thinking that they're gonna to put $200 somewhere and have $100,000 in 2 months doing absolutely fuck all, creating no value, nothing, not even to themselves, not even investing in themselves. And I want to clear that out, because this is not what we're talking about here. Here we're talking about self-education, self-empowerment. And so you are a divine infinite being, and you can manifest yourself to whatever level you want to manifest yourself. So it's up to you to put the work, nobody else. So full ownership of manifesting yourself. I like that, because when I was in survival, I always had someone to blame. My parents, my family dynamics, my government, my. So now that I take responsibility for my health or for my finances, and after a few years of being consistent, taking the same actions in the same direction, you start to enjoy the fruits of your own creation. And I think if everybody was about saving themselves instead of going out and saving the world, fill up your cup, and when the cup is full, I assure you, it naturally overflows, just like a fountain. And we haven't been told this, so I don't want to get off track, but I think it's crypto doesn't have to be so masculine and cold. There is many dimensions of spirituality, of consciousness. It's an incredible instrument, and so here you are. You realize, okay, I need to invest. So most of us in the beginning, we don't have money. When I started, I was waiting for the next paycheck and the next paycheck, and I started to save up. When I had $1,000, I went into a shitcoin. I lost it all in a few days. First, I multiplied by 3, and I was on a rush of like, oh my God, I got it. That's how I'm gonna to get rich, you know. And then it crashed, and I lost maybe 80 or 90%. And my ex-partner at the time was just telling me like, what are you doing, man? Like, you're losing money we don't have to lose, and you know. So I was feeling shame. I was feeling like all that emotional roller coaster. So then I realized, okay, I need to learn. I don't want to be a gambler, otherwise you might as well go to the casino, right? So the way I approach cryptocurrency is an art. It's a craft. It's like everything. It's like cooking, right? So when you have money to invest, it doesn't matter if you have $100 or $1 million. There is a blueprint that is gonna to help you get successful. So I want to dive a little bit in that now. Feel free to ask questions if they're burning your lips. Otherwise, we try to stay on the flow of thinking, and so I don't get on a tangent. So let's say you have $1,000 to invest. The first thing I would do is I divide this bucket in two. 50% of that, I will put it in coins that are already somehow established. So this means Bitcoin, Ethereum, but also the newer ones, the Solana, the Polkadot. I don't want to fog your brain with names, but half of my bucket will be in coins that I know, because I do my due diligence, because I research the projects, and we will talk on this as well. Once you've chosen 3 or 4 projects that you know for sure are going to make it in the next 4 or 5 years, you just buy them and you forget about them. And that's the hardest. That's the hardest. So 50% of your portfolio must be like this. What I would recommend, and of course none of this content is financial advice, just to be clear. I'm sharing what I do, and it's just fun. Let's say $500, you would get $100 worth of Bitcoin, $100 worth of Polkadot, $100 worth of Ethereum. So you choose in the top 10 or the top 20 some project that you look into and that you like, project that you understand. But project that you like, what problem are they solving in the world? If it's not aligned with your energy, everything is a trade of energy. So I invite you to be mindful. Are you just here to make a quick box? Which is cool. I've been that. No judgment. But as you start to make money, then you really start to realize, shit, I am co-creating this reality. So do I just want to make money and copy-paste the same system we're trying to get out of? That's dissonance. The change will come from us. So we need to invest in products that touch our hearts, and then the community will make it successful. So also I would get some stable coins like USDC. What a stable coin is the value doesn't change. Bitcoin price can go up and down, sometimes crazy, like 10 or 15% in a day. A stable coin, you don't make gains, but you don't lose money. And this is very, very important. Most people overlook the quality of stable coins. And so let's say for $100 it wouldn't make a difference, but if you had $100,000 and you had 20 grand in stable coins, when the market crash or corrects, now you have money to buy super good coins, really cheap. And because you're on the big picture, because you step back and you see 3 or 4 years game plan instead of 2 weeks quick gambles, you're not able to put $20,000 that will turn into $100,000 in the next cycle. And that's how I've made most of my money. That's how most successful people in crypto do, is you need to be able to buy when it's cheap. But the reality is most of us, we see all the agitation, all the green candles, everybody's talking about crypto, about this thing, about that thing. Even the cat down the road is telling you like it's time to buy Bitcoin. And guess what? Like 3 weeks later, boom, 60% retracement. So 50% of your money will be in safe, slow and steady coins. They won't make incredible gains, but even if they multiply by 2 or 3, hey, that's better than 1% per annum at the bank. Which, by the way, if your money is in the bank, it's not as good as a stable coin, because it's losing its own value every year, as we've seen on that graph. So my mom, who put some of her retirement in the bank for 7 years, locked, she made out of 150,000 euros, she made 12,000 euros, and she had to pay taxes on that. And she was left with something ridiculous, like 7,000 or 8,000 euros in 7 years. And I was like, Mom, I wish you gave me that money. I really do. Okay, so what do we do with the next 50%? Here is when it's fun. Here is when you're looking for the horses. You need to pick the right horse. You want also to know yourself as someone who is getting excited and juiced up because you find something that you like and you see it multiply by 10 or 50. Like, this is crazy. The brain cannot compute putting $1,000 in a project, and 2 months later, for no apparent reason, it's $50,000, like life-changing money. So that's what we want in the other 50%. We want to identify some projects which have a lower market cap. Market capitalization means how much money is invested in the project already. So in Bitcoin, we have $1 trillion more or less that's invested. And then you have small projects, there's $10 million invested. What does this mean? It means if it goes to 100 millions, you have 10x your money. So the downside of this is the more potential reward, the bigger the risk. And that's why you are rewarded, because you assuming the risk. Investors, financial investors, people who've made their money, they don't look at small cap. Their rule number one is don't lose money. They want their capital to be safe. But for some of us, when we try to get the ball rolling, to turn $1,000 into 5 into 20 into 100, you need to take a little more risks. And so, depending which phase in your life you're at, if you're 25, you're not married, you don't have kids, you don't even have a house, who cares if you lose $2,000? You'll find another way to make it. But if you're 60 and that's your life like your retirement plan, basically. You cannot be silly with it, because I mean, that's a life or death kind of decision, right? So the younger, the more fiery you are, you can dial this 50-50 into 30-70, 20-80. I wouldn't go beyond 30-70. I think that's a sweet spot. But again, I've been 98% bullish at some point, because yeah, that was my way of learning lessons as well. Any questions on this? Or any is this formula kind of bringing a bit of wisdom or a bit of clarity for you guys? Because it took me a long time. Yes? Almost.
Like, you talk about the portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
So the best bet is how many percent to the stable coin and the alt coin.
Sure. So if you just have one portfolio, I recommend no more than 7 coins. 7. The problem is we get them like Pokemons. It's like this project. Have you heard about that project? Have you? And before you know it, you have 30, 40, 50 coins on your app, on your Blockfolio, on your Delta. Anyone has been in that place? Having like more coins that you can just follow up with? So what this does, it's draining. We're not actually choosing fully a project. We are just trying to make money. And what I've discovered over the years is you better just choose very specific ecosystems. Let's say you like Binance. Let's say you like Polkadot, Solana, whatever. You take a few weeks to learn, to read all the Telegram, all the Discord, get on their web page, like get everywhere to understand what partnerships are about to come out. What technology are they developing? And if you do this, so you just hold very few coins, but all you have to do is to sort of keep up to speed with these very few projects. Then 3 months before everyone, you know that Cardano is about to release a DEX, an index, or a technology that is just everybody needs to use. And now you buy it at 10 cents, and then it goes to $1 or $2. And this is a way wiser approach to cryptocurrency, which is actually like very difficult. I make it like it's so simple, but we are all compulsive. We are all like, I want to make my money now. So to answer your question more specifically, brother, it's if you have 7 coins, I would put 3 or 4 coins, medium to high market cap, and one of these coin needs to be stable coin. So yeah, how can I explain this? So let's say, to keep the example I said before, we have 50% and 50%, so we have 2 portfolio. Then one we do not touch, and one that we're going to be more active with, maybe every month, every 2 months max. Every month we update this portfolio. So on the one we do not touch, if it's $1,000 is your seed money, $500 is going in the first portfolio. I would do, you divide this in 3 or 4. So 33%, 33%, or 25%, 25%, 25%. So one of them needs to be stable coin. Yeah. And then in the other, we have 3 or 4 coins that we believe are going to multiply by 5, by 10, by 100. That's very efficient.
Do you have some projects that you have identified that will do 5 by 10 by 100?
Very good question. That's $1 million question, right? Yes, there are a few projects that are really promising. I really like your t-shirt, by the way, brother. Are you part of the project? Amazing. So harmony to me is definitely something to look out for. If I'm not misleading, you had a partnership with Apple recently. Is this information? Is this intel or not? You don't think so? That's interesting, because sometimes fake news also come online to pimp a project, and it's crazy. It's crazy. So unless it's on the official website. Okay. I like Theta. Theta is by the guy who invented YouTube. So if any of you has ever used YouTube, you must acknowledge that this guy has brains, but he also has the ability to execute a project from A to Z, and very successfully. Theta. So usually when we look at projects, and we're going to get into that segment. How are we doing with time? Maybe I'm already out. Do I have another 30 minutes? Oh, I don't know. All right. So usually when you look at a project, one of the first things you look at is what problem is this solving? All of us, we have these beautiful phones, 12 megapixel cameras, everybody's on the TikTok, the Instagram, the Facebook, uploading. There is an increasing need of data storage. And because the technology is getting better and better and better, it takes more and more space. So the guy who invented YouTube is like, shit, content creation is through the roof. Even people in India, or like in every corner of the world, we are uploading. So he's anticipating, okay, in 3 years from now, we're going to need a whole new technology to harness the human behavior. So Theta is doing this. And yeah, we can talk maybe afterwards and stuff, but I would encourage you guys to look into projects like this, where first it's solving a huge problem. So what's the intrinsic value of this coin? Well, actually, it's solving a huge problem that hundreds of millions of people need to be solved, right? And second, who is the face of this project? Is this some shady, vague team of new students who've never accomplished nothing before, like they have a good idea but they've never executed something? Or is it a guy who've worked in Switzerland and who done that in San Francisco and whatever? Yeah, very important to choose carefully the fundamentals of the project you're going to invest in. Gwynny? One place to start is CoinMarketCap, coinmarketcap.com. Frankly, I'm not a huge fan of this index, but it's very helpful in many ways. It's just that it is owned by a centralized exchange now, so basically they're presenting the information a certain way that's gonna to increase their business. So I don't want to bore you to death with the details, but I prefer an index like Nomics, for example, that's way more neutral. But on CoinMarketCap, you can just see very clearly all the projects, and there are more than 12,000 as we speak. 98% of this is going to go to the rubbish, but people will still try and create, and then we will be left with 200 or 300 or 400 projects that are really worth something that solve world problems. So you go there on CoinMarketCap and you can read, if you see in the top 10 or top 20, there is something that appeals to you. You go, you click on that, and you can read already a nice chunk, and then you can go on their websites and start to read the white papers and whatever. That's how I would start my investigations. Also on YouTube, if you follow some good influencers on YouTube, they will always try to tell you about this is coming. So sometimes it leads you a little bit in the right direction.
Do you have any YouTubers?
Sure. I like Alexander Lorenzo. Brother, if you ever watch this content ever, I love you. Reach out. Yeah, Alexander is super cool. I've been working with him. I've taken his course. I like Richard Hart, but he's very controversial, and he's kind of a genius, and I wouldn't recommend this for beginners, because it's like reading Terence McKenna when you start learning about philosophy or whatever. It's just too much. But the guy is brilliant. There are some cool guys like Crypto Banter, like BitBoy Crypto, and Elio Trades. These are probably the only few people I will name. I'm sure there are so many, but I've curated over the years, like, for different reasons. They will help you to learn everything. Just the one thing I would warn you with is, when they say about something about a coin, please do not go and buy it, because a lot of them are making their money like this. They have big followings, and they're telling you, hey guys, this project is amazing, I just bought a big bag of it. And so in the next week, all the viewers are like, oh shit, he's telling me that. So they do it, and then they exit, and they take profit. So yeah. But they may lead you in the right direction in terms of technological advancements, projects. So after a few weeks or a few months of reading about crypto, you will start to create something in your mind that's getting more and more alive, more and more clear. And you will have projects naturally that you keep hearing your friends talking about, and then you start to do your research, and then you may add it to your portfolio. Great. So, I mean, this alone will save you so much time, but also so much money, if you can apply it. And then another point that I'd like to touch on to wrap it up is how we are emotional creatures. The way we do one thing is the way we do everything. And basically something I found that helped me a lot to bridge the craziness of technology and the spiritual world is to maintain a sort of a balance with your practices, with the way you eat. I've done a lot of meditation. That's how I started. I was not a business person before. I was trying to escape. I was channeling the fucking 12 dimension, but I was bypassing my whole incarnation. I was just fantasizing. I want to become a monk. I'm gonna to fuck off. This world is crazy. And strangely enough, technology brought me back to balance, and I found that you can actually bridge the two of them. And spirituality doesn't mean to be poor, not at all. Not at all. And that's a big problem for us. Like, we have all these gifts, we don't want to get paid for it, because if you trade your energy, you need to value your time. You need to be rewarded for this. And so, why am I on a rant with that? Yeah, so your practices, right? So, even though I've been a little out of balance for the last 2 months, we've done some travel and stuff, but usually I'm pretty good with, you do your practices in the morning, your yoga, your breath work, your meditation, your fasting, and one day at a time you're sharpening the soul. So if you're very compulsive with your eating, you're going to be very compulsive with doing crypto. If you're very compulsive with your eating, you're most likely very compulsive in your sexuality, in the way you do every aspect of an adult's life. So it's cool to see that it seems paradoxical, but they work hand in hand. They are the yin and the yang. You can make $20,000 in an hour and go back and meditate for 2 hours and go places. And it's actually possible. It doesn't have to be one or the other. So it brings us back to more balance. And of course, this is kind of when you reach a certain level of equilibrium, and even if you dance for 20 years, right, you become fucking epic at what you do. If you play the violin for 20 years, you become incredible at what you do. Crypto is no different. You need to put the hours in, and you're gonna to get better and better and better and better. And the emotional ride in the beginning, slowly they will lose your grip over you. So that's why I was mentioning, if you know what you're buying into, let's say you understand Theta, what it does, who's the team behind. You buy at $6. 2 weeks later, it's done at $4. Okay, chill. What's the big deal? Your balance has moved on the screen, but the fundamentals haven't changed whatsoever. So then you hodl, which means holding. So you keep your bag, and when it goes back to $7, $8, $9, then you breathe again, and you're like, oh yeah, cool, no problem. But if someone tells you in the taxi, oh, have you heard about this coin and like fucking Dogecoin, whatever, even Shiba was amazing, maybe it was fun, but it was a shit coin. When people heard about Shiba, it was too late. So they buy, and then you see 30% retracement in a matter of hours or days, and you're like, oh fuck, I'm not sure about my decision, and I don't want to lose all my money. So then people get into panic sell, and we see this at a community level, like 95% of us are compulsive. So the people who are going to make the money at the end of the day are the people who learn how to manage their emotional states. And for you ladies, it's maybe a little extra work because you are way more emotional. But in saying this, the feminine lives also within all of us, masculine. So it's not a gender thing specifically. It's just as a woman, you may have more tendency to be emotional, and therefore you should do more homework before taking a position and creating your portfolio. Yes.
Thank you. I just have a question. When you say you lost some money in this investment, does it mean that it just the value of the coin never went up again, or how does it work? Because I get confused sometimes when people say they,
So basically, it was there and then it was gone, just like that. So some very small projects. Let's say there's only like $3 or $4 million in a project, and you don't know where the money come from. Maybe it's like 1 or 2 wallets. Then a few people come in, and they put $100, $700. After a few weeks, it has doubled. And then the people who bought, like they do a rug pull. It's called a rug pull. It means they sell, and you end up being one of the last guy with a bag of coins, but there is nobody else on the other side to buy it. And so it's worth nothing. So rug pull is a very classic booby trap when we start, and that's usually associated with shitcoins. Shitcoins is a real term, I'm not making it up. It's a classification of projects where the hopes are to make a really large amount of money very quick, but the risk is like 8 or 9 times out of 10 you lose money. At some point I had a strategy where I would invest $1,000 in 10 shitcoins, and 8 or 9 would lose money, up to 80%. But the 1 or 2 who were making money, they were making 20 or 30x, 30 times the money, and so I was still profitable. So then you can start thinking, okay, advanced strategies, because like today it's a sort of a entry-level conversation, but if you really wanted to, we could take it to, we have investors like 7, 8, 9 digits working with us, and we can talk real strategies on how to deal with taxes, how to cash out your cryptocurrency, because the hardest is to make the money, but then once you've made the money, you have new problems, quality problems, regulations, taxes, So it doesn't actually get easier. You just keep on growing, expanding. Yes.
Thank you. So I believe like if you don't sell, you don't lose. So why actually you would not wait and maybe like have the hope that this shitty coin will just, boom again? Mm-hmm. So how do you know that actually you have to sell or then?
Very good question. Just before I answer it, I wanted to add up to yours, which was other ways to lose money are to be scammed. This is very, very common. 2 years, not even 2 years ago, last year, Litecoin, which is a huge project that I was invested in for many, many years. I saw a perfect website. They're hacking the social media, the Medium, the Twitter account of the person, and they say, we're so successful, we want to reward our users. For the people who send us whatever amount of money, we will send them double to thank the community or whatever. And it's so stupid looking back at it. But I was like, wow, they're so cool. They want to encourage market adoption, and everything looked legit, and it was just another hack, another bullshit. So now people realize how easy it is to make money if you're a hacker. It's very easy to take advantage of how much we don't know when we get started. And that's why we could have talked also about security, on how to use different kind of wallets and cold storage to make sure that your wealth is not online and accessible to hackers. Just to close that. So your question is really about how do you get the confidence that you've made the right choice to hold when the price goes up and down, and sometimes it will go down, and for sometimes, or when to sell. So nobody actually have the answer. I would be lying if I was telling you anything on that. Usually I base my decision on fundamentals, and I have sort of a price in mind where I'm like, if it really goes 40% below, I will just take the loss, for example. And that number can move on different projects. But if I buy in a good project, which was the case with Bitcoin and Ethereum, you know, they retraced 4 or 5 times 80, 90% of their price. So in 2017, I had $100,000 in crypto or whatever, and then the crash came in, and I thought it was just a correction. I thought it was just, oh yeah, a little dip. And then the following week, another dip. And then the following month, even deeper. And you go through all the stages in your mind of, there are graphs online, the cycles of psychology. You get from, yeah, that's nothing, to really stressing out, to denial, to, okay, fuck, I surrender, okay, I sell. And now you've sold your Bitcoin at 85% cheaper than what you bought it at. And then guess what? A year or two later, it's back to a new all-time high. So I would say on the big, solid projects, when you take a decision, that's why it's important to do your due diligence. When you take a decision, you give yourself 2-3 years. And if you start to make profits, like significant profits, then that's another conversation altogether, but I encourage people to take profits all the way up by a ladder. So let's say you put $1,000. A few weeks later, it's already at $2,000. You're like, wow, cool. If you don't take anything here, you can go back down again to 1,000 or 600, you know? So you're like, okay, I've doubled my money. Okay, what about I cash out my seed money? So my seed money is how much I put initially. So if I put $1,000, it goes to $2,000. I will take, let's say, $1,001, just for the principle that I want to take out a little more money than what I put in. So now I have $1,000 for free, basically. If I lose it, I haven't lost anything. So if that $1,000 double up again, and this happened in crypto, you can double, and you're like, oh my God, like it just keep on doubling. So then you take another $1,000, or you say, you look at the graph and you start to learn a little bit about technical analysis, TA. It doesn't have to be really complicated. I think with Alex we should make a module specifically on how to understand charts in 2 hours, because honestly you don't need to do years to understand the basic signals, and then that help you to take profits all the way up. That's a very interesting thing, is you can have $200,000 on the digital. It's worth nothing, absolutely nothing, until you've converted it back into fiat money or business or land or gold and silver. And yeah, again, I want to emphasize that if you enter crypto now, even with $1,000, and you keep on consolidating, every time you got a little extra $200 or $300, you keep on adding, you will understand and realize the power of compounding. The power of compounding, it's blasting open the mind. If you were to play golf and you say we're going to gamble 10 cents per hole just for fun, and then you're like, oh, let's make it more interesting. Every hole we're going to double. So instead of 10 cents, we play for 20 cents. By the time you reach, I think it's 21. Anyone play golf here? You know how many holes? I think it's 21. 18, maybe 18, like that. I don't play golf. But by the time you reach 18, the amount is astronomical. It's more than $20,000. And you start, or even more, I forgot. But the analogy was so powerful because you start with 10 cents. So with crypto, you will see a lot of that. Your money will compound in a way that the mind is usually we need to work hard to deserve money. And here it can look like easy money. So then initially what happened with the psychology and the emotional body is like you make $50,000 and you've never had 5 digits in your bank account. Maybe you've never seen $10,000 in your life in your bank account. I know, for the longest time I was living from 17 to 20 something. One time I made a property deal, I made some money, but before that I never had 10 grand in my bank. So I got big check coming in. Within a year it was all gone. Because energetically it's not a match. You're used to a certain way of thinking. It's funny. Money will trigger all sort of shadows, all sort of self-worth issues. And so it's funny because we think it's about making money, but it's actually about becoming a better version of you, a more balanced being. It can take so many shapes and forms, but crypto is definitely a strong teacher. Yay. Yeah.
Do you apply the same principle of constantly taking a little bit of profit each time for the 50% of the first 50% of your portfolio, which is the stable coins? Or do you just keep holding onto them for like 3 to 4 years? Because we go through cycles, right? So there'll be times where it crash and it go up again. Like for the advanced strategy, how do you capitalize on that?
Yeah, awesome question, brother. And thanks. It needs a distinction. So if you have the coins in your 50% that you're going to hold, these ones you don't touch them. Like I bought Binance when it was not even 10 cents. I had no fucking idea. And I sold it when it was like 30 or 60 cents. I was so happy. I multiplied my money by 3 or 6 or whatever. And now it's $500. So I did the same with Cardano. I learned my lessons. The easiest way to make money is to hold. Choose a good project and wait over time. Of course, it's easy say. I wanted to be the one making the money. And I was trading, like spending fees and getting scammed, and then I realized, wow, if I did absolutely nothing, I would have made 20 times more money. So that was horrendous. So the good coins, you don't touch them, but the other 50% that you try to compound, the idea is to turn $500 into 1,000, 1,000 into 2, 2 into 4. Then it starts to go quicker. 4 to 8, 8 to 16, 16, 32. 32 is like, oh wow, okay, 60 grand. And then boom, you pass 100 grand. So it's not that easy, but with the right strategy, if you manage your losses and you keep on taking profits consistently, then at the end of the month, you should see a return on your investment, and you keep on re-injecting some of that into the machine, and the rest, if once you reach a level where you can make a living from this, then it's great. You know, it's kind of like different levels.
Thank you. what about the strategy? I like that you brought up these cycles within crypto with the halving, and how do you track that and know, like, because for me, sometimes I have been emotional and I've jumped in, but had I really just trusted my gut and waited, I could have, it would have dropped and I could have had double the amount of coins that I ended up buying it for. So how do you track all of that so that I can be more precise and we can all understand it more?
Cool. Well, it's all about intuition, right?
Yeah.
No. No. Intuition is not our friend. Yeah. I'm just being cheeky. So you need. So what's funny is intuition actually definitely come into the picture when you choose your projects. It's kind of, is it a yes, or is it meh? Then don't do it. Just don't put your money if it's like yeah. But if you really like it, intuition can be the inner compass thing. I use data, and we've been tracking Bitcoin for 12 years and all the other ones. So we have charts, and my opinions, actually, I'll tell you the truth. We take ourselves so seriously. I don't have control over what the crypto market is going to do. So even in my so-called expertise, I have opinions. But the market will do whatever he wants. So usually you look at patterns, and again, that comes back to technical analysis. So we can see for Bitcoin, you've done that for the last 12 years, on the clock. Nobody can explain exactly why, but there are cycles in psychology, in astrology, in world events. It's all entangled. But we've seen going up, people are speculating about the technology. They're speculating, they're trying to, it's called a price discovery. Wow, Harmony is doing this. Wow, I need to invest now because it's going to be worth 10 times in 5 years. And then the next person think exactly the same as you, so they buy it a little bit more expensive. And the next person, because I discovered crypto like 7 years ago, you discover crypto like today, for example. So you're going to see value in projects that I'm already coming out of, and I'm moving into another project. But that's how it works. That's how we create a price discovery. So we've seen that it goes up, and then there's a huge correction. In the beginning, the correction was all the way till 90%. And it's done that every 3 or 4 years, like on the clock. The graph don't lie. And right now, we are kind of due for a correction. So if you want to invest, I would honestly encourage you, if you can be patient for a few weeks to a few months, you're going to be a cheaper entry point. So more coins for your money. Again, these are my opinions. I have no clue. I'm just following what the market has been doing. And so until the market changes the pattern, I have no problem just saying, oh, well, now the market is doing something new. It's evolving. But I'm not going to project my hopes, my dreams, my convictions, my distortions on the market, because that's how people lose money. That's how we get into delusion. So you can use tools like, if you go on CoinMarketCap again, there is a chart that's for free, and as you get more and more professional with your crypto education, you may want to use professional tools like trading charts and like stuff that you pay a subscription for, and it gives you like very precise.
Which one do you recommend?
What is it? TradingView. TradingView is definitely one of the best out there. Mm-hmm. Ah, cool. Cool. So now I just really want to thank you guys for taking the time to listen to this conversation, and I really support you in your financial growth, because it's such a huge pillar in our lives for stability, for safety, health, finances, relationships. I mean, this is really what we need to work on. And if your finances are not where you want them to be right now, it's easy. You just look at how much money is in your bank account. And if we cut the story, the justification, it just means you haven't made it a priority yet in your life. You don't want it strong enough that instead of watching Netflix, you're gonna have to learn about how to make more money. It's really that brutal. I've been poor, guys. I've been working jobs as an immigrant, all the way, hospitality, 18 hours, 16 hours days. So until we have enough and we decide to shift our highest values, maybe your highest value is to be social or sport, to have a beautiful, strong, whatever. We all have different values. But if you want more money in your life, the first is to realize, okay, I need to change something. Different actions, different results. And then once you win the game, you can go back and look at your life again and rebalance, and that's it. Sure, Gwen, quickly.
Very fast. I think it's important to talk about it. Can you share something about FOMO effect?
The fear of missing out. So specifically when you want to buy, or in a general sense, or?
Because I did a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
That I did not before, a few years ago, and yes, last year I don't know why I got this this FOMO effect.
Okay. So the fear of missing out is usually what this means is when we feel the contraction of not having money and not feeling safe, we think that we need to try harder, more, and basically we're coming from a contraction, we're coming from a fear. So every seeds we're gonna to plant that is fear-based is gonna to bring a fruit that brings more fear into our reality. So when you find yourself in FOMO or any kind of fear in general, you can just close your eyes, scan your body, take a deep breath. You feel the contraction is here, the contraction is here, the contraction is here. You don't want to take action in this moment. You want to be present enough that you can actually realize, oh, hang on, right now in this moment, it's not a good time to take an action, and I better take a day or two, get back at it. Crypto won't be gone tomorrow morning. You have 3 or 4 years to make your money. That's why I emphasize that message. So the FOMO is an indication that you are in fear. Fear is an indication that you've been waiting a little too long to adjust your values in your life. And now the feedback of your own creation is informing you, if you don't change your values now, we're going to bring more intensity and more intensity. You will keep on losing more money, you will keep on being more stressed out, and it's a downward spiral. So again, to be present through your practices like yoga and meditation, it looks like it's a wasting time, whereas in fact in business, people who meditate every day, they have the discernment when they need to take executive decisions. So you take less decisions, but they are so much more powerful. And that's all I have to say on FOMO. Yeah, cool. Thank you.